So I was at coffee in the coffee shop at the CWL, and the Archdiocesan Secretary at the time was Dan Flynn. And Dan came and said to me, "Have you ever managed a bookstore before?" And I said, "No, but I'm willing to give it a go." I remember down in the Snowy River where I come from, we had a general store there. And I was only the height of the counter at the time, and I remember serving people with absolute confidence and delight. It must have stayed with me. I really went into the Aquinas Book Store to sort of be with the staff there that were moving on. And at that stage, the Pauline fathers whom I'd been in touch with considerably, they were looking to branch out because they'd done so well by the catechism. And I said, well, look, if the daughters of St. Paul aren't going to look at it, why don't you branch out here? And then the next thing is, they're here, a gift to the Archdiocese. That's the way it was put. I think the loveliest thing that I've enjoyed most of all is knowing the value of people who come in here. They don't know their worth in the way of how they look for their faith. And they don't understand that they're here because the Holy Spirit has led them, and I love that. And I often reminded them, you know, you're not here because of being lacking. You're here because the Holy Spirit has led you where you want to further your understanding of your faith. I started to go to Mass every day. My father used to go to Mass every day. I thought, you know, fancy having Mass here and not being able to go. So it went from that to a reading, and it used to give me heart palpitations to go up there and read, but I thought to involve myself and participate a little bit more. And I started to think the number of people who came into the shop that had occasions where they were worried, someone was sick, someone was dying, and I thought, look, give me their names and I'll take them into Mass with me. And it became so much more that I decided I'd get a book, and I put the book on there and I called it the Aquinas Book. And they said, one man came in with a briefcase and he said, "Tell me, what is the story about that book?" And I said, that's where people place their names when they want to be prayed for, or if they have something that they're concerned about and they want prayer. So, and I take it into Mass with me every day. And he said, "Did you know that St. Thomas Aquinas used to do that?" And I said, "No." And I thought of the Aquinas Book, of the Aquinas Book Store. I thought, what a lovely moment, you know. They're wonderful things that are good stayers, you know, that people wouldn't think of buying unless they were recommended. And this beautiful book here on St. Alphonsus, Father Corbett, the Redemptorist, wrote this, and it's been beautifully presented. I love anything to do with the saints. This has been a remarkable book, actually. The End of the Present World, and it's a book that St. Therese of Lisieux read and said it was one of the greatest graces of her life. And I like anything on St. Alphonsus Liguori. He's my hero, and a prolific writer as well as being the founder of the Redemptorists.